Okay, this is a huge misstep by Team Trump. With Trump waiting on an impending indictment in the Stormy Daniels hush money case happening at the hands of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, it would make sense that the former president would be trotting out his mouthpieces to defend him. And one of those mouthpieces is his current lawyer, Joe Tacopina, who, like a good little foot soldier, has been out there seeking to shape public opinion and convince everyone that the former president did nothing wrong and that it's all a witch hunt, as Trump consistently claims all these investigations to be. Only one small problem. Back in 2018, this same guy who's now defending Donald Trump was on television arguing the exact opposite point, including claims that he did a consultation with Stormy Daniels herself when she was seeking legal representation. Her current attorney, Clark Brewster, turned over to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office communications that Daniels had in 2018 with, you guessed it, Trump's now lawyer Joe Tacopina and others at his firm that include specifics about this investigation. CNN pointed this out in a side-by-side comparison of what Joe Tacopina is saying today and what he said 5 years ago when he wasn't Trump's attorney.
I mean, once that net is out, once the microscope is on you, everything is fair game. And it's hard to argue, oh, you can't look at this or you can't look at that. So yes, if there's an issue with that payment to Stormy Daniels being that it was made on behalf of the candidate, okay, and it was not declared, that's fair game. That a lawyer took out a home equity loan with his own money, paid somebody that he didn't even know on behalf of a client who, by the way, had the wherewithal and the money to afford $130,000, and by the way, didn't tell the client about the settlement agreement. It's an illegal agreement. It's a fraud. If that's in fact the case, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't pass the straight face test. And quite frankly, if that is what happened, we have a potential campaign finance issue. Does anyone actually believe, anyone, left, right, middle, whatever, that if someone else were accused of paying hush money to avoid a public sex scandal in the manner that Donald Trump is alleged to have avoided a public sex scandal, they would be prosecuted? The answer is 100% no.
Okay, so you have the Stormy Daniels possibility of piercing attorney-client privilege. Let's set that aside. He is now representing Donald Trump. Back then, he was making, it appears, correct me if I'm wrong, the complete opposite argument of what he's making today.
So this is why people make jokes about lawyers, right? Lawyers are advocates. They're not fact witnesses. So he's representing one client now. He's going to put forward that position. Back in the day, he was maybe not representing Stormy Daniels, but was kind of talking about what her side of things would be. So, he's not a fact witness. Like, it's okay to take a different position or put a different position out in the press. The real question is, did he represent her? What did he learn from her? And does that mean that he now cannot represent Donald Trump? And, the judge will sort all that out. Usually in these cases, they don't actually disqualify the person. Courts do like to honor a criminal defendant's choice of counsel. So probably they will say you can't use anything you learned, you can't cross-examine her if this goes to trial, but they'll probably let him stay on the case.
Now, even though Tacopina denies that there's a conflict or that confidential information was shared with his firm, the fact that he was making legal and also logical arguments against Trump 5 years ago doesn't exactly lend credibility to the arguments that he's making in Trump's favor today. And Tacopina is not the only lawyer who's undermined this case on national TV.
On that, sir.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through a law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
There's no campaign finance law.
Zero.
So the president.
Just like Sean.
So this decision was made by.
Everybody was nervous about this from the very beginning. I wasn't. I knew how much money Donald Trump put into that campaign. I said, $130,000. He's going to do a couple of checks for $130,000. When I heard Cohen's retainer of $35,000, when he was doing no work for the president, I said, but that's how he's repaying. That's how he's repaying it, with a little profit and a little margin for paying taxes for Michael.
But do you know the president didn't know about this? I believe that's what
he didn't
Michael
know about
said.
the specifics of it, as far as I know. But he did know about the general arrangement that Michael would take care of things like this, like I take care of things like this for my clients.
In that disastrous interview, on Hannity nonetheless, the easiest interview a Trump defender could do, since we know Hannity's only going to throw softballs, Rudy Giuliani is making some major claims that don't exactly help his former boss. Like, for example, saying they funneled the money through a law firm and then the president repaid it, and that Michael Cohen took care of things like this, which only confirms what Michael Cohen testified to in his own criminal trial when he claimed that everything he did regarding the Stormy Daniels hush money payout was done at the direction and knowledge of individual one, who he identified as Donald J. Trump.
As the many people that know me best would say, I am the person that they call at 3 a.m. if they needed help. And I proudly remember being the emergency contact for many of my children's friends when they were growing up, because their parents knew that I would drop everything and care for them as if they were my own. Yet last fall, I pled guilty in federal court to felonies for the benefit of, at the direction of, and in coordination with individual number one. And for the record, individual number one is President Donald J. Trump.
And since Michael Cohen pleaded guilty for his role in the hush money payouts and testified against Trump, everyone in Trump world, including Joe Tacopina, is now attempting to undermine Cohen's credibility by making statements like he's a known perjurer, known liar, meaning that inadvertently showing Michael Cohen's credibility is only serving to hurt Donald Trump's chances. But then I guess we shouldn't be surprised that Trump's team of hangers-on isn't exactly up to par. And of course, Cohen is just one of many lawyers who's gotten into trouble working for Donald Trump, including Alina Habba, Jenna Ellis, Rudy Giuliani, and now possibly Evan Corcoran, who's Trump's current attorney in the classified documents case and has just been ordered by the courts to testify before the grand jury, given that his attempts to claim attorney-client privilege were pierced thanks to the crime-fraud exception. It's almost like constantly committing crimes doesn't really pay off. But as Jenna Rogers, legal analyst on CNN, said, lawyers are advocates, not fact witnesses. And this couldn't be more clear after seeing Donald Trump's lawyers' attempts to fumble through various legal defenses that contradict each other and prior positions that they themselves had taken. Apparently, when someone's been committing crimes for as long as Donald Trump has, publicly, out in the open, in full view of the entire country, anyone who joins one of his many legal teams has to be willing to look ridiculous on television and negate their previous arguments in order to provide a decent defense, just like Joe Tacopina had to do. And yet, with all of this evidence stacked against Donald Trump, he's definitely going to need a good lawyer. The problem, of course, is that none of those lawyers are willing to defend him. Before you go, a quick announcement. I've started a Spanish YouTube channel. Democrats desperately need to be able to appeal to Spanish-speaking audiences, so this is me doing my part. To help that channel get going in the algorithm so that we can finally start spreading our progressive message and breaking the conservative stranglehold on Spanish-speaking media, please subscribe and watch a few videos. The link to that channel, called Brian Tyler Cohen Espanol, is right here on this screen. And of course, to see more of my content in English, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well. The link is also right here on this screen. Thanks so much for watching.